Hey everyone, Chris Ercoli here for HS Game Time. Alongside me is Eric Paul Johnson. We are taking a look at the Mountain Valley League, and Rubidoux was the top dog in the Mountain Valley last year, and what do you know, EPJ has them on top once again. EPJ, what do you like about them?
You know, Rubidoux last year, just kind of that desire to get out of the cellar and get back to the top. They went from 1-9 to 8-3-1, winning their first league title and first playoff game in over a decade. So they have that hunger. They know the target's on their back, and I don't think they're going to, go to sleep on anyone. They know everyone's coming to get them. They're going to keep up there at the top right now.
Are you going to be bold and say that you'd put yourself in that spot, or who would you put in that spot?
You know, I really think I think we got some good talent coming back. We got some newcomers on the line, that we're real anxious about seeing and everything. But I think from top to bottom, I think our league's good. We got Rim of the World, who I think is very tough. We played them up there. I really like Notre Dame's backfield. So I wouldn't pick us as the complete favorites. I think we can be in the hunt, for another league championship. But it's just a matter, as long as we get, better week in and week out, I think we can be there.
And one player in particular for Rubidoux that really catches your eye?
Daniel Young right now, the junior running back in safety. Last year he was an all-CIF safety, getting 4 interceptions. He ran for over 600 yards and 13 touchdowns this year, but this year he's going to get the ball a lot more. Look for him to be a 1,000-yard rusher this year and be the focal part of the offense.
Daniel, you're a junior, but definitely a big impact player last year, running for over 600 yards and 4 picks as a safety. Even more of a role this year. You got to be excited about that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do more this year and motivate people on my team to do good. We compete for tackles every game. We're just trying to see who reaches 100 first, everything, just trying to get there.
And he's going to be playing both sides of the ball. A lot of guys on this team, am I right, are playing both sides of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, their quarterback, James McGregor, who is also at that triple option offense, going to run a lot, but he's also going to play the other safety spot next to Daniel out there. So, yeah, look for a lot of their best players to be going 2 ways and kind of be the foundation of this team.
And maybe who's a sophomore, junior up-and-comer that didn't get a lot of action last year, but is going to catch some eyes this year?
The guy I look for is maybe Jesse Kelly. He's a sophomore defensive tackle, a big kid right now, 6 foot, about 230 pounds, and he's being mentored by Jose Sanchez, their star 2-way offensive and defensive lineman. So he's got a good mentor on there, and I expect him to come in and be able to make some good strides and be an impact player as a sophomore.
And your number 2 team, Notre Dame, the mighty Notre Dame, a new coach there, a lot of changes for them. What makes you excited about them?
I think right now the big factor for them is they return their entire starting backfield, and you don't get to see that too often year to year. So their quarterback, Kevin O'Connor, is back. He threw for, I believe, 14 touchdowns last year. And both tailbacks, Joshua Ivory, a 5'4", real quick speedster, ran for over 1,000 yards last year, and Dominic Easton, a little bit more powerful back, is also back. So that good three-punch combo in the backfield should be able to keep them scoring points right now. The question is, they lost a lot of defensive players. Can they keep points, from being put on the board against them? That's going to be the big question mark for them.
A veteran coach, though, can probably help with that type of thing, right?
Yeah, definitely looking for Coach Stekovich. He hasn't coached in over 2 decades, but he does have a track history of success, leading Ramona to one of 2 co-championships that they've won. And he, restarted the Chafee program back in the 80s. So, a good, respected coach, old school coach, who's probably going to go in there and look to get in. It's also his alma mater, so he definitely has a lot of pride wanting to keep that program near the top of the heap.
You see them having a legitimate chance to challenge Rubidoux for the top spot?
Yeah, I think they might give them the best challenge given that offensive firepower that they do have. Like I said, right now, and a couple key players coming back from injuries. So that offensive, game plan with those 3 players are going to make them, a very tough opponent.
And then your number 3, Rim.
Yeah, Rim of the World last year, they went in probably with league title hopes, and then just injury after injury after injury just beset them all season. They lose their running back at one point, offensive lineman here, just everyone going down for injuries. Now, what Coach Bob Gradia said was the silver lining in all of that was players who wouldn't have normally played got experience. Young players, sophomores, juniors, got on the field last year to get that experience. Now they come back with, 5 or 6 games under their belt. So they are not first-time starters. So they're going to have, while not full year starters, they're going to have guys who have been on the field, played in big games, and that should keep them, on a level where they can compete with the top teams in this league.
Let's look at the top half now. On the bottom half, you have teams like Citrus Valley and Banning. What can you tell us about them?
You know, Citrus Valley is, probably the big wild card in the league right now. They're one of the newer schools in the area. Their third year right now as a varsity squad means their first varsity class. And what the big advantage that they have on most teams is they have numbers. They're not going to have guys playing both ways. When I talked to Coach Schmolin and went through his projected starting lineup, he didn't have one guy playing two ways. So they're going to have fresh guys on the field, and they essentially return 22 starters. So experienced players, they've got in 3 or 4 big transfers. That should be, a key factor for them. So they could finish anywhere from contending for a league title to still making that small strides, but they definitely are a potential playoff team.
So you're picking them as kind of your wild card team in the league that could maybe shake some things up and pull off a couple surprises.
Yeah, definitely, because I think they're a little bit bigger and stronger than last year. And like I said, the fact that they're going to have fresh legs on the field at all times is going to be a big factor for them.
And then next on the list, you have the Banning Broncos. A rough season for them last year, but a new coach and also a new field. Really nice. I believe they spent big bucks on a whole brand new sports facility we saw out there at Banning. Hopefully, will they have a big splash in their first game out there in Banning?
Yeah, I mean, I think this could be a rebuilding year for Banning. I mean, you look through their lineup last year and almost all their key players are gone and graduated. But, a new coach with Scott McRitchie, he does have a proven track record of success, having, led West Valley to a Sun Belt League title a few years back. So I think that's definitely the bright spot. Will it take maybe a year or two for them to get back into that chance where they can contend for a league title? Yeah, but you got to remember, a couple years ago, this is a team and a program that beat Kaiser in the playoffs. So one of our, big programs. So they're not too far off. I just think right now, little too many holes that they're going to have to fill, a little too much experience right now to really contend for a playoff spot.
We know one guy, the #1 booster for the Banning Broncos, Louis Amistoy of HS Game Time. He will definitely be pulling for Banning this year. Perhaps they may hire him as offensive coordinator mid-season. Anyways, moving on, last but not least, Jurupa Valley.
Yeah, Jurupa Hills.
Jurupa Hills,
yeah.
Excuse me, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Jurupa Hills right now, only their second varsity season, no seniors yet. They're in the same situation that Citrus Valley was in last year. It's just, you look at their roster, not a lot, they don't have the big strength. They're just starting their weight program into full force. So they're still a step or two behind everyone else. Coach McMillan has reasonable expectations. His idea isn't so much we want to win a league title now, it's we just want to improve game to game. So next year when we do have our first senior class and everything's coming along, we have that chance to compete for a title or compete for a playoff spot. So, but they do have a lot of talented skill players, including maybe one of the best players, and they look for Crest Hollis to do big things. Last year, he returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns against Rubidoux, so definitely a player to watch.
So a team that's probably rebuilding but could do some damage a year or two.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, like I said, second year program. They're just making those little steps right there, but every program goes through that. But you look at past teams who have been in that situation, the Vista Murriettas, even Rubidoux. 5 years ago, this school closed down for a year. They had to start their program from scratch. It took them 4 years, but they eventually found their way to the top. So I think that's the model you look at Citrus Valley and Jurupa Valley trying to follow, or Jurupa Hills trying to follow.
So if you had to say, would you guess Rubidoux going undefeated in the league, or do you think somebody's going to take them out?
Right now I would have to say that they're the clear favorites. I'd give them, a potential of going undefeated again. Like I said, that surprise wildcard team is going to be Citrus Valley. I think that they could pull off an upset and really shake up a league race here.
Plenty of talent here at Rubidoux, but also plenty of talent throughout the whole league, so it should be another exciting season. Make sure to check us out. We'll have all the highlights on HS Game Time Live beginning September 2nd. Go to hsgametime.pe.com. We'll have everybody there. EPJ will be covering this league throughout the whole season, and we'll have plenty of highlights throughout the league. So for now, reporting from Rubidoux, he's EPJ, I'm Chris, and we're signing out.